This
like
conference
read
will
the
now be
manual.
recorded.
So in Nmap, if you read the manual, for example, you type man space nmap.com, sorry, space nmap, and then it will give you the manual where we can explore different things. So I'll just quickly, maybe I will show you side by side. I'll open my, I'm not using VMware, but VirtualBox. So let me run some. Okay, I'll show you in a bit, like let the system boot. So we can also do perform operating system banner grabbing using Nmap NSE script, Nmap scripting engine, as well as O minus capital O option, or else we can also do capital A. So these are all things you can read in detail, and then you can practice a lot from the manual, Nmap manual. So every tool is a good uh, way to start. Like if you are not familiar with some commands, like we'll get many options if you read the manual, if it is available. Otherwise it's just a tip. If you're already using that manual, then it's good. And for every tool, as we know, like we can use the help command space minus h help or hyphen h. Then it will give you all the probable combination or how we can use that particular tool in the terminal. So manual will give you more actually information. So external penetration testing is like testing the network from the outside, the network parameter, and more realistic, considering how a attack would happen like from the outside. So usually different attackers, they use security gaps or vulnerabilities after they discover about all that in a organization, target organization, to disrupt the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of the network. So, as a penetration tester, while we are performing the penetration test, we need to conduct or find out those security gaps. So, we'll scan and identify IP addresses, host name, and their vulnerabilities. Usually, it's very easy, but if it is like sometimes uh, our like IP is inside the internal network, and then also the external network is filtered, so we have to find out the IP and then bypass, gain some I mean find out some vulnerability and get a connection. And then we can, after getting that connection, we can actually exploit the internal network. uh, there are options like we can communicate, we can use netcat to actually or create some payloads to send inside the network, and then after that we can do all that actually. But see, let's explore. So how we can start auditing with Nmap. They have given you some tips here. So we can use luxurytreats.com and ping and find out the IP address. So we'll start with this Windows 19 machine. Side by side we'll scan in my virtual lab. So this is a device like Windows 7. It is vulnerable to eternal blue exploit. So due to some old version of SMB and running port 113 and 145, I think. So if these ports are open and there is a vulnerability in SMB, so attackers can easily exploit using different. So we will find out that shortly. So for example, we will log in here. Just open terminal. So, Mira, one more tip, like when you're searching or scanning and seeing that these packets are blocked, so side by side you can open Wireshark. So if you're familiar with Wireshark, you
Yes, I
can
am.
capture the traffic and see like what is actually happening in the
Okay.
network by capturing those traffic, and then you can actually further find out.
So let's say I'm doing just a scan right now. If I'm doing Nmap or something like that, so Wireshark should capture that. If I
You
luxury
can
like
capture, you can just to understand like what is happening. So, for example, now if I want to check like what is going on, so I can start Nmap, capture the request, and now it is capturing here. Like I can do this.
so in another session, I'll just open Wireshark. Is it
Right. So now I need to find 19. I mean the IP address of this website. So I'll just ping, and it is maybe not blocking ICMP. So we'll see background like what is happening. So we'll just press enter now.
luxury? I think
Um,
it's misspelled.
okay, so ping is
RY.
some typo.
Yeah, luxury is misspelled. Yeah, XURY. Treats.com. Yep.
I think we're capturing the wrong network. Let me check which network I'm in. I'm in network 16. So this will be Ethernet 4. I'll be capturing now, running the command again. Now we are capturing traffic. You can see it pinged 4 times and then stopped. So we'll stop capturing the traffic. Now we can analyze. So we can see here started with 172 172.19.19.7. This is the source. Uh, so I think, let me check. Yeah, so 172.19.19.20 is the IP address of Windows Server 2019, and this is the default gateway 19.1. And luxury traits is running locally, maybe, like that's why we are in the same range. Subnet 172.19.19.7 is the IP destination IP. So we started with ICMP protocol. We started pinging. So this is the IP address of Windows Server machine, and this is the IP address of Windows. Uh, I mean luxury traits IP address where it is hosted actually, the server IP address, web server, and you can see these are like what happened actually. Ping ICMP, and then there was some ARP broadcast and ping, and then it stopped. So if we check this frame
Mm-hmm.
frame so not the frame one, ETH2. Uh, so here we can see the MAC address of the devices here, and then in Internet Protocol version 4, we find this source IP. Yeah, so somehow you can actually analyze the traffic while you are also uh, doing things, and that way you will understand what is happening in the background.
Yes. So if you do google.com, ping google.com, so something
Yes.
external.
Yeah. Yeah, so 8888. Okay. So we pinged and four times. This is google.com 2401. So it started, and there were some other destination. 2401 is the IP address, but we see a lot of TCP while we actually tried to ping, and then there was DNS. So this was the ICMP, and it actually pinged the DNS of Google. So this 888 is a DNS
Yeah.
and ICMP, and then this was the IP address 172 of Google. Maybe it's
Right.
a ICM DNS server or something. So here you should see different codes actually. So type 3 is destination unreachable. Code 3 is port unreachable. So when we're trying to, it's like ICMP, destination is unreachable. Port is also unreachable.
Yeah.
So here you can see datagram used UDP. So sometimes like TCP scan, if not working, you can try UDP scan also instead of TCP. So here source port is 43, destination port is 61192. And these all some like a lot of things you can find. Like then you have to like play around and check different things. Fragment, offset, flag, UDP protocol, destination. This is the destination source IP address. Again, it tried to ping source port. This is the source port. That means like from 53, I think. This is Windows Server. Then DNS response, and there is some transaction ID. Then DNS response retransmission happened here, response in frame 12, and then some flag. So flag 1 is response, message is a response. Server is not an authority for domain. Truncated message is not truncated. And some error code, some query happened between the DNS. Then answers. So it says type A class something. So DNS is basically like in computer we don't remember. I mean the system or computer they can't remember the name that we remember in website like Google, Facebook.com. They remember the IP address. So DNS is like a directory where all the IP address of this hosted server are listed. So when somebody or user or client use their browser and then type google.com, so it will actually query the database and the DNS server, and DNS server will check from the host name to IP address and then check like which IP address is for google.com, and then they will retrieve the information from the server and send it to the client in the web browser, and then we can see google.com. So this everything that's what happening actually here. So yeah, so it's a good idea, like sometimes we can
Mm.
observe few things while analysis. So again in exam also they might ask you some question that you will find only by capturing the packet, and then few things you can find definitely through Wireshark packet capture. So after finding this, we can actually open ZenMap in Windows and scan that IP address. So IP address we found was for luxury treats is 172.19.7.
Yep. That's 7.
So we can copy this here. Then we'll open ZenMap. So in ZenMap we have different profiles. You can see we can create new profiles, and whatever according to our requirement we can name the profile. Like for example, we want something like ping sweep or something. So accordingly, we can select all those. Like we can remove all this. So don't ping before scanning. Sorry, yeah. .pn is sometimes like if firewall is blocking or something, some security control is in place. We can give this option .pn in nmap. So if it is blocking the ICMP, so it won't ping actually while scanning, and that way you can sometimes uh, use or scan like you can try .pn. Did you try like you can try this?
I did sin, so uppercase S and lowercase s actually to scan. I didn't try it dash p n. Probably that's the best. I should
Yeah.
try.
So this should not be used because it will send ICMP. So you can do PN and yeah. So here you can play around and actually create your own profile. By default, like when you create a profile, and it will actually will be reflected here under this drop down. So ping scan, this is the ping scan you did actually. So ping scan usually it's for a host discovery scan, where we can find a range of live hosts by doing the ping sweep. I will show you in a bit. But we, for example, we can also do
Can I
UDP
ask you a
scans.
question? Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry to disturb you here. Can I ask you a question? So this
yeah,
whole
yeah.
course of CPENT, after doing this, and if you have learned everything what they have been teaching, what's included in the syllabus, do you get to become advanced level of pen tester or medium level of pen tester or beginner? Intermediate, beginner, or advanced?
Definitely advance if you can clear the exam, because that's a very tough exam actually, and that's why you will get to know about whatever will be there in the exam when you do the practice range. So after you go through all the everything in the
Mm.
content and the labs and few practice, I mean a few box you crack, and then after that you go ahead and run the
Okay.
practice range. So 1 month you have to like work really hard, then you will
Mm.
understand like what it is. And
Understand.
after that you will definitely gain a lot of good experience, because that will be a realistic penetration test that you will be performing when you're all
Okay.
prepared. So then you will learn different things, and if you are not able to solve, so you have 1 month, so then you can work hard and try to get those skills and solve those.
Yeah.
Then definitely you will be a intermediate level to advance.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So this is SIN scan you're doing, UDP port. What is T for?
It's a timing template actually. So we can, for example, if there are some firewalls or intrusion detection or monitoring in place, so sometimes we never want the monitoring tool to create, I mean, get those logs that we are sending by,
Yeah.
so it can be too noisy. So in that case, like sometimes we can do T3 or like, sorry, T2 or T1. That will be very
Or try
slow and it
try
will
so
take
many
more.
times, is it? Try 4 times, is it? That's what we're trying to say.
No, no, no. It's a timing template. It will wait between different requests, so it will be slower. T1 will be the slower, and T5 will be the fastest. But just in
Okay.
our virtual environment, we can use T4. SS is a still scan, and SU is a UDP scan. So it's sending
Okay.
both TCP as well as UDP. So if we don't want SS, we can remove that. But it will like won't do the full handshake. That means like it will
Yeah.
ask, hi, are you available to connect? Then the server will say, yes, I'm available. Then instead of connecting or building the three-way handshake, the client will say, okay, I don't want to connect. Then the connection will reset. So that is still scan or half open scan, or you can say not a three-way handshake. So
Yeah.
sometimes it is helpful in some scanning. And here we have a aggressive scan as well, and we are using minus small v for verbose. That means like whatever will be happening will be actually seeing the result in the screen. So for this
Yes.
scan, we don't need this, but what we are going to do is simply we will do a intent scan. So for that, we'll select the intent scan profile. And here we have T4 again, an aggressive scan where we will do trace route, operating system detection, also version detection, and some basic script will also be, I mean, it will run. So now we will type the command, our, I mean, target server,
ID.
intent scan, and then we will scan. So because we use minus v, small v, it is giving us verbose like output, initiating scripting engine and scanning, then it's still scanning, or yeah. So now it's initiating the service scan at this point of time, and it already discovered so many open ports, as you can see. Due to verbose, we were able to. So the result is not yet complete. I mean, it's yet to give us the result. So now it is it completed still scan at this.
Mm-hmm.
So it will scan, and then after that we'll get a similar result where we'll get to know about, yeah, different ports and their services and the version. So it is running a port 80. It is running IIS HTTPD web server. Then 135 remote control RPC, and 139 net BIOS, and they have SNB enabled 445. Then 3389 is TCP wrapped something, and then some information. These are the scripts actually where we see, I think, then operating system was able to detect like Microsoft Windows and MAC address and all that. So further we have to investigate like after this service, and then if the service is vulnerable, if this version that is being used by the service is it vulnerable, that we have to further Google it and find out. So the scan result is not yet complete, but this is how actually. Then again in GenMap we can actually go to hosts, and it will give us all this, and then we can actually check the topology also. Like it will give you a little kind of a chart. So our scan result is out. Can go to services. So here we can see the details.
Oh, so red means that host with more than 6 open ports.
Yeah.
So that circle it has in the graphical representation, does that mean it's within the same domain or something? Same network?
Which one?
You know, the graphical one, the previous sorry, the page. Yeah, behind this
This one?
one. So
Yeah.
local
So
host
this is
and
the local host, and here it's scanning. So yeah, it may be like it's the same.
it's showing the same one circle. So that's what I mean. That what does that mean even?
Yeah, usually it is in the same local area network.
Yeah, ZenMap is good. I don't know why the new Linux version does not have it. New Kali version.
It doesn't have, but you can install actually. I will show
I
you.
tried, it
Hopefully,
didn't work. I did try.
okay.
The newer version is not running.
internet is not working here.
Is this new version of Kali? Is this one you have?
No, it's not new actually. Yeah, it's not installed. But you can install hopefully like if you go to ZenMap and
Yeah, I tried everything. I tried to download it from GitHub and did every possible thing. It just doesn't work. So I just gave up. I thought I'll just run Nmap, no problem.
Sir, I'm just
Just-
really very sorry to interrupt. Could you just give me a 10 minutes time? I'll just get back to the classes. 10 minutes.
ah sure, Kaushik, no
Stay
problem.
on mute until then.
Yes, I did read different articles and whatever I could find. It's just that I never got it to work. Change the path, change the directory, did everything after installation. It's just I think there's a compatibility issue with the ZenMap. Maybe I'll try on Ubuntu. That would be different.
You need actually this Nmap DPKG. So you have to use using the DPKG space hyphen
So
install
let me just
and
take the
then dev,
picture.
Debian. Yeah, Debian is there.
I just did one. It's the same command for to install the Chrome. So I
Yeah,
don't
Chrome
like,
also we have .dev.
yeah. So I don't like
So if you upgrade,
Firefox. Yes.
yeah, if you want to upgrade Chrome, like if there is a new version, again you have to download the new .dev file and
Oh,
then start.
okay. Um, yeah. Hopefully this one will work for me for a little while.
Yep.
I'll try this same command and see if it works.
Yes. So you can save as a XML file also from GenMap, and in Nmap we have different options. Like if you see the
Mm,
manual, so this is the XML.
right. Yeah, report gets really tedious. If I'm doing it manually, it will be better to do the report from somewhere.
Hey,
Yeah. So now, like for example, you want to scan some IP address. So we'll do this is the local host in this local area network. So I'll just create sometimes like maybe a lab where you'll be able to do that pivoting later on. So right now we are going to just
hey.
map and then scan 24, or we can do hyphen 255 and scan all the page ranges. And we don't want to scan for ports. Rather, we'll do a ping scan, a ping sweep, and check the live host. So this is I'm doing host discovery scan, And so when we do Nmap help, we see all sort of useful information like host discovery. I'm doing now. I'm doing under host discovery ping scan, so it disable port scan, and it will let me know in this range out from 1 to 255. It ping every host, and like from the internal network, we are doing this, and then 192.65.5 and 57.8. So my IP address is 192.65.5. So this is the IP address of Kali Linux. So 192.68.57.8 is the target IP. So I have only two machines running in this local network. So now next we are going to scan this IP address. This is the Windows machine actually. So if we scan, I can
So
do it.
Nmap is used to scan out all the devices listed on your network.
Yes. So I'll just show
It
you with so here I use Nmap, did a ping sweep to scan all the host in this network. So right now in this virtual local area network, I have only two machine running. In that is Kali Linux and Windows machine. So these two are in a local network actually using host only adapter, and this is number three. So if we check different adapters that I have actually I have done a lot of different networks. So here host only adapter. So this is actually the default gateway 192.67.57.1. So I'm going to scan in this we have from 1 to 255. It can be actually 255 devices. So one is already the default gateway. So we are scanning from 1 till 255, or we can also do so. Then it actually pinged every host, and as only two machines were alive, so it gave the IP address of Kali and this Windows machine. So this is the IP address of uh, Parrot Security 57.5, and this is the IP address. So after finding this, we can actually proceed. So this actually sends ARP, ICMP protocol, ICMP packets. So if you open Wireshark in the background, you will be able to see. So apart from that, we can use another command if you're in the internal network. So first we did the external ping and found the IP address, and they did a network scan, the luxury treats. So now this is actually internal scenario where we're inside the network. Then we can use another thing. But before that, like I will show you Nmap help. So this is there are different options you can go and whatever you want, like you can use. So I use this -s ping scan, and it disables port scan and only ping find out. So this is only for host discovery, and there are different scanning techniques like this still scan, acknowledgement scan, window scan, the finish scan, Christmas scan, and all that. Then there is also version detection. So SV is version detection. Then there are some script scan you can see here, and operating system detection scan. So this is what we can use. And then there are some firewall IDS evasion spoofing scan. So these are all, if there are some security controls, we can use -F. So it sends fragmented packet. That means like it will cut the packet into small units and send one by one, hopefully to bypass the security control. We can also set MTU, maximum transmission unit. Then decoy scan, like we can use a lot of decoys, and then if we scan, and then there will be a lot of fake IP address. I will show you. Then we can use source port manipulation and source IP spoofing. That means like if some IP which is allowed inside the network and every other IPs are blocked, so we can choose a IP from the internal network, and hopefully it will not block our request, and then we can bypass sometimes. Then there are other techniques you can see. And output, we can use output file as a XML or other, so using different options here. So this is nmap scan, and this is an example, scan.nmap.org. We can do some aggressive scan and ping sweep. These are examples given. But I was talking about manual earlier, right? So if we type the command man, then nmap, so it will give more information about any tool. Like if there is a manual, so you can always go ahead and read more information about any tool using the man command. If you're already using, that's great. Otherwise, you can check. So man nmap is a network mapper. It is an open source tool. It will give you the description and then few examples how to perform sample report also, and what is this. These are like different targets, host discovery scan, the same thing that you saw in help, but more in more detailed way, you can see. So target specification, resolve all, so many details you can get. What is input file, I mean, from a list also we can actually do a scan. DNS, no DNS resolution if you use the N option. Then R option, DNS resolution for all targets. Then host discovery. So PN is like disabling the host discovery. So many information. So this way you can actually adjust your scan and make it more powerful, or in a efficient way you can target your, I mean, scan your targets. So many options like we'll get to know about, like TCP ports related scanning and all that. And then you can type Q to quit this from here. Then any other tool, like if you want to know more about, like for example man, and then net discover. So net discover is another tool that can be used to do the active and passive ARP. I mean it will send you the ARP packets. It will send ARP packets to the network where we want to test. So net discover is an active ARP reconnaissance tool through which we can actually use the R option to give a range like 192 IP address hyphen 24 or like minus 255, and then device name, like if you want to specify a particular network, and then it will scan. So instead of that, like in the right hand side, so we have to check the interface name. We are in ETS 0, or we can also do 192.168.57. We'll copy the interface. So if sometimes if the ICMP, ICMP packets are blocked, then we can use ARP, but in the internal network. So now we are going to do the R option or I option and scan. So it says we must be root, so we will use the command sudo one time. We'll be running this as a root user, and now it will scan. You can see it's sending ARP packets. checking for errors and all that. Like, and then it will when it receives some ARP response, it will give us the live host. So we are in 57 range. So now it's still in 19, then 20. It will scan till 57, and hopefully it will find some IP addresses here, 5 and 7.
This is just your internal network, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just an internal network, and sometimes it works like if ICMP is blocked in the internal
Right.
or something.
Can you do net discover for external network?
No, I think no.
No.
Yeah, so now we got this IP addresses. This is the default gateway. Then 8.
So this is basically sending ARP requests to the internal network to find out how many
Yeah,
hosts are.
right. So this is our target, like 57.8. So here also we found 57.8. Then after finding this target, so here we can also use ARP scan. So it sends ARP request to target host and display response to targets IP addresses IP4 V4. So here I think you can use it for in remotely using this tool. So let's try. Yeah, due to some like its permission is denied. You can read more about ARP scan in this GitHub repository. So if you want to
Yeah,
use this thing,
I have done the internal ARP request because it works on LAN, I think, but I'm not sure if
hmm,
it works for external.
yeah. So now we are going to do a aggressive scan T4 and map. So you were asking about, see, like sometimes if you want to scan for IP6, IP version 6, so IPv6 is this, and then we can also scan for version 6 using this if you enable with minus capital 6. And then timing templates. So there are different timing and performance like options. So T 0 to 5 set timing template, higher is, yeah, higher is faster, and if we give 0 or 1, it will be very slower actually. So let this scan run in the background and we will see. Next, file transfer protocol. Like if you find a FTP, how we can actually upload, access, and download files from the file transfer protocol. That things we should be familiar with. So here it will give you an example where we are going to scan a machine and it runs FTP. We don't know the version yet, so we will detect the version also. Sometimes right now we are using a script called FTP anon to see whether anonymous login is allowed. So with Nmap, you can try this script, and if it says login allowed, that means like anonymous login is allowed in this FTP server. Sometimes like it's allowed. In that case, we don't need any username and password. I mean, simply we can type FTP. So you can check that using the Nmap script whether anonymous login is allowed. So here, if you type the username as anonymous and press enter, it will actually log you in as because anonymous login is allowed. So we don't have to brute force or check for any vulnerabilities. As I demonstrated in the previous classes, like once like FTP brute force I demonstrated, and also VSFTPD. Like if the version of the FTP itself is vulnerable, we can go ahead and use some exploit, search for exploit in the exploit database or Rapid7 in Metasploit framework and exploit that. Or even use auxiliary module to brute force the FTP. Here we were able to actually log in because through the Nmap scripting, we ran that FTP anon script where, I mean, they allowed anonymous login. So after that, the commands we can type question mark and press enter. It will give you all the commands that we can use in FTP. So usually ls is also same. Like we do ls, it will show you a list of directories, and then
What machine are you
to
exploiting? Is it metasploitable? Is it?
this is not, but you can try with Metasploit table also. There anonymous login is allowed actually. You can run this script, nmap
Nmap
script,
script, yeah.
F, no? Yeah, yeah.
So
So
FTP
you
Nmap
can look,
is
yeah,
a
if you
script.
search, yeah,
Yeah.
this is a script, and you can find that script here. Like, uh, so here we have a few FTP related script. It's located in user share nmap in your directory. There will be scripts directory where we have all the scripts. So I'm just greping for FTP right now. So I'm only getting the FTP related script here. Actually, there are a lot of more. So this is the script FTP anon,
Yeah, there are
and it
over
will give,
500 yesterday I checked.
yes,
Yeah, a
yes,
lot of
so
sick.
many.
There are over 500.
Mhm.
So there was
Nmap,
there's one like, let's say there's a brute force script. Do I need to provide the password file for that, or Nmap is
yes.
using? Okay.
Yeah, some of the softwares they have a default. Like when you do SQL map, it has a default word list. But Nmap, I think you have to use in even Metasploit. Nmap brute force, like there are some options like, but you can use MSF console and provide a word list.
Okay.
Here, our scan result came. You can see 39, 30, 39, and 445. These are actually SMB related. You can see if you Google it. So SMB 445 service message block, and sometimes NetBIOS 139 also. So in the case port 45, an attacker may use this to perform NetBIOS attack as it would on port 139 also. And use SMB walk and SMB. There are different tools. If SMB port is open, you'll be able to actually brute force also and do some scanning on SMB. Or,
So this Beyond Security is the website that has the um, vulnerabilities there.
huh. And actually, yeah, in exam, the vulnerabilities will be there because that's why they will set the machine in such a way. Sometimes they won't be, but you have to just write in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
report
So I'm just saying
first
Beyond
stage.
Security. So far, I have not been looking into this website.
Oh, beyond security. I just opened a random article website actually. I was searching for these port numbers. So yeah,
Right,
port 13945 are used for NetBIOS communication between two hosts. And in case the port 455, an attacker may use this port to perform NetBIOS attack. And we can find actually we can do pen test on SMB ports.
right.
And here we have a eternal blue exploit. I mean, this port is open now. What we can do is we start the MSF console, and it says Windows 7 and service pack, some old version. So in FTP, in order to upload and download, we use get to download and put command to upload files. So in this practical, actually, they will upload and download something like there is a secret.txt file. So
Okay.
ls, and we're able to find a secret. So if you want to download this, we can use get secret file. So it will get put will upload actually. So here it is saying get secret.txt, and it will download to your current directory or home directory. Then you can find the secret
So,
file. Yeah, so it is downloaded. As you can see, it's this is secret file.
so you had just
So it,
downloaded. Okay.
yeah, so it can be a flag in the exam. Like sometimes if you find the FTP and they ask you some question, so whether it is not penetrable and with security controls, but they forgot the anonymous login thing. And if you find that it's allowed, then you can actually download that. Here you can see
In the
this is
exam, would they
FTP.
say that what script to run in Nmap, or you
You
just
can
find?
use any tool, any script. Like there is no restriction actually,
Hmm.
no restriction at all. Right now we are going to search. Yeah, before that, like we want to run like some scripts to check whether this is vulnerable. So Nmap uh, scripting engine. Look at let's see.
.nsc.
Yeah, so SMB you can check some like this will help you like find out the operating system if you run this script.
First
SMB.
discovery.nsc. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, so it ran the script, and you can see operating system is Windows 7 Service Pack 1, and it gave the computer name John PC. Again, if you want to run, whether to check whether it is vulnerable to SMB MS17 101. So this is actually Eternal Blue vulnerable machine already. So we already know it is vulnerable. I will show you. Like sometimes it might be vulnerable to double pulsar also. So this is not the NSE you're looking for, but MS. The MS 17010, also known as Eternal Blue, is a security update that fixed vulnerabilities in Windows machine. Older version, like it contained that vulnerability actually. So NSA is believed to have developed this exploit, and they actually were actually targeting many Windows machine. So if you know shadow brokers, they have actually released those script.
Right.
Shadow,
Shadow broker.
yeah. So it's a hacker group who first appeared to in the summer of 2016. They published several leaks containing hacking tools used by NSA, National Security Agency of the United States. They have a GitHub repository. They had actually, or maybe like it's removed, but yeah, it's still containing .NSA hacking tools. I think this one. So they use a lot of zero-day exploits and actually targeting. So yeah, they have this actually repository, but we should not download. Maybe it contains a lot of malicious website. I mean malicious softwares.
Okay.
Yeah, we're using
Oh,
this
that can
eternal.
happen. That can happen as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so they were using this exploit, and also you can see Shadow Broker SMB scanner. There is another scanner, but uh, this is based on Shadow Broker DAM. They had a actually scanner. So now coming back to this, we can verify.
So let's say we go to SMB. Let's say we try to exploit. What can you do? What can we do exploiting SMB?
We can get
What?
unauthorized access actually.
So what are the things we can perform there?
See, when I write, I mean, when I search for SMB vulnerable, it says this machine is vulnerable. So remote code execution can be done.
Okay, so I can upload certain codes and create the backdoor,
Yeah,
run
it
code there.
contains a already ready-made exploit here for
Uh,
uh, for actually not this but MS. Yeah, so we have exploit Windows SMB Eternal Blue, and we
Right.
can use this exploit.
So if you say use zero, okay, then do we need a payload for that?
No, we don't need. So we'll use this and uh, like it's called eternal blue. That means like usually how it happened was like when we were using that Windows 7 older version, usually sometimes our PC would like stop and there will be a blue screen error, right? So this is what
Blue,
happens like since
death of
yeah,
blue is it's called death of blue or blue of
yeah,
death,
death
something
of blue
like
or
that.
kind of blue,
Death of blue.
right. So that is what happens actually. It will freeze the screen and then we think that it's an error, but actually we are compromised. They ran some remote code, just like this practical. Like for example, we can set our host. Now our host is set. This is our host is set, and sometimes we need to set the L port, local port, and now it is in local host. So, but sometimes we can give the IP address of the machine we are using. That is Kali Linux machine, and 445 it will target like the 445 port. This is for SMB, and we might. also set need to set the payload actually. So set payload.
Okay.
Uh, it is using Windows X interpreter reverse TCP at the moment. Let's check if we exploit and see if we can.
I have to log into the machine.
It says host is likely vulnerable, and now it is actually doing its thing. Some override was successful. Let's see if we get a reverse shell. But we should change the payload also sometimes
Hmm.
if it doesn't work. By the default payload, it used a reverse TCP. Basically, it's like doing a buffer overflow and doing some kind of thing. You can see sending egg to corrupt the condition, triggering free corrupt buffer, return over. These are all complete, and it failed actually. It failed, but
Is
it's
it
trying
because you have
again.
not logged into the your Eternal Blue machine? Maybe machine has to be logged in. It
No,
has
no,
to
no,
be up.
no, not like
No?
that. Yeah. So in that case, we will change the payload.
Okay.
So we have so many payloads, but the one we are going to use is I think it was the same payload, X64 bind TCP reverse bind TCP. So we can use a generic payload instead of. Let's check. So now it is set under generic payload. Earlier it was a different payload, as you can see here. Reverse TCP now generic. We'll try to exploit again. Yeah, I think it's something happened. Like there was
Mm-hmm.
an error due to exploit. Let's start. Actually, it was on a different mode, so it didn't work actually. So it says target is not vulnerable.
It happens quite a lot, isn't it? Sometimes this exploit doesn't work. Go to log out, log back
Yes.
in, and things like that.
Yeah,
Are you okay to continue? It's almost 2:30.
yeah. We'll stop actually, but let me change the IP address of the L host. Hopefully that will work. IPA, and this is 192.68.57.5, and here set L host. So now we are exploiting again. and this time I think it should work.
So what was the reason? Because the L.
Lhost IP address was local host, but actually I changed it to the IP address of the local host, actual IP address, that is the
Okay.
private IP
So,
address. So you
okay.
can see like we got the session now. We haven't done anything, like does all its own thing and did the buffer overflow, sending final assembly version to buffers and all that, and session one was open, and now we
So
are
so
in,
let's
like we
say
can
you
see.
do sessions. If you type sessions here, so there's a
No,
background session. Is it open?
no. It's like we already are, like we got the shell, like we are in Windows now. If you see,
Oh, right,
now we
right.
can,
Okay.
yeah. So we
Yes,
can
Windows.
type the dir. So we are in Windows directory. We can type all the Windows command. That means like we are in the Windows machine at the moment. So clear screen doesn't work. Maybe like
So you
here
get
we
the
will.
same kind of vulnerability even in Windows 10, is it?
Yes. Yeah, there's
Oh,
double pulsar actually. So we have to check. So Nessus can also pick up if it is
Okay.
vulnerability is there.
And how
so
about the latest version, that's Windows 11?
So far I don't know like if there is. They have corrected, I think.
Okay.
But in exam they won't give Windows 11. I think they will give all machines like Windows Server 16 and 7, 8, or maybe 10.
so they will have
Okay,
quite a
so
huge
we
amount.
do have even up to Windows 10.
It depends actually how they change it, like, or set up the machine. So we
Okay.
can do net discover, and we can see like net discover. Sorry, net user. So net user, we can see like we are logged in, and there is administrator. This is John PC.
Okay. So I IP config, would it work?
Yeah, we can IP config. It will run all the Windows command here because we are already in
Okay.
inside the machine. So yeah, if we do exit now, like for example,
Hmm.
so now we are back to the session. Now if we type sessions, we should see that session. Oh no, we got,
Yeah, we
I
got
mean,
out of the session.
out.
Sometimes it opens the session and doesn't do anything, so session keeps on running in the background. So how do we get
Yeah.
back to that session? Do we just say session and number, something like that?
Yeah, session and number, or like if you want to go, you can type BACKZROUND, background. So if you do background, then it will actually. I will show you like that thing. So if we
Okay.
have to escalate the privilege, that means like we got the session, but we don't have any higher privilege. So in that case,
Yeah.
we have to set the current session to the background, and then use another exploit or module in
Hmm.
MSF, and then we will set up all those required fields, and then do the. For example, if you get inside, but now we cannot do hash dump or like clear the event logs. So in Windows, covering the track in Nmap, we have a simple command: event viewer will log everything. So if we clear this, of course, the analyst will find that someone cleared the log. That means the system is already compromised. They will check everything, but it will be difficult for them to understand what how the hacker get in and all that, because logs will be wiped out. So there is a option clear EV, but without root privilege we cannot clear the event logs or securities logs. That means like, so right now I have around 16,000 events related to security, but we can actually see like investigate. So it is loading here, and I don't know, so many session open. Command shell.
Yeah. Something happened.
It just continuously it's like working automatically. Even I,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll just exit anyway.
You're good.
So yeah, we will continue tomorrow. Like I have another class now. Like that's
Yeah,
why
sure.
I have to end the session, and we'll continue from where we left. Like from the
Yeah, sure.
from.
No problem. Is
Yes,
there any
surely,
homework
sir.
for
Yeah.
us? Is there any homework for us?
Uh, yeah, you can try Mr. Robot. Like there is a lab,
What's that?
Mr. There is a web application as well. Like it's Mr. Robot is based on this web series. It was very popular back then.
Okay.
So Mr. Robot, based on Mr. Robot, there is um, you can download this, I think, and set up in your machine and try to solve. So
Right.
basically, like here, you will find a WordPress website where you need to, after finding the server, it hosts a vulnerable web application, WordPress. So how you will actually exploit, brute force the WordPress, and then upload some vulnerable plugins or a reverse shell in WordPress, and so that is what it is about. So you can try.
Okay.
It's not working. I think chat is not working, but you can try find this
No,
in
chat is
GitHub.
not.
Yeah,
I have taken the picture. Kaushik, you can do that too.
Sorry?
Just take the screen print. I think the chat
Yeah.
is not working. All right. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thanks.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. See you tomorrow. Yeah,
See you.
welcome.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.